That history you do not get in history books, and you absolutely need to. It's imperative. It's part of our American history. Well, apparently, in regards to Oppenheimer, there's some dirty history that happened in the building of Los Alamos and after the fact. And with over 12 million tweets, 12 million views on Twitter, this author has put out this really incredible list of some history that happened during Oppenheimer, during the actual history of Oppenheimer. So I want to share this with you guys, and I want to read for you guys in regards to some dirty history that is completely erased. This is not in books. This is not in books. 12.14 million views, 24,000 retweets, over 3,000 quotes. I mean, you get it. You get it. It really struck a chord in a lot of people. Okay? This is about Oppenheimer and about the history. Here we go. This quote from the New York Times review of the Oppenheimer film, quote, he served as director of a clandestine weapons lab built in a near desolate stretch of Los Alamos in New Mexico. End quote. She goes on to say, it was inhabited by Hispanos. They were given less than 24 hours to leave. Their farms bulldozed. One, many of those families had been on the same land for centuries. The Oppenheimer crew literally shot all their livestock through the head and bulldozed them. People fled on foot with nowhere to go. Land rich, money poor. Their land seized by the government. Two, all of the Hispano New Mexican men were displaced by the labs later, were hired to work with beryllium by Oppenheimer. The white men got protective gear. The Hispano men did not. The Hispano men all died of berylliosis. They were U.S. citizens, folks. Their lands taken, animals killed, farms bulldozed, forced to work for the people who took everything from them, and then killed by those people. For 20 years, I have been trying to sell a film based on the story of Loida Martinez, a remarkable whistleblower whose family's land was seized for the labs. Her dad was one of the men who died from beryllium exposure at the labs. She later went on to work there too. She's a computer whiz who rose to the top of her department at Los Alamos. Then she started digging in for info on the Hispano men the labs killed, like her father. She filed a class action lawsuit and won. The first Hispano governor of New Mexico, Bill Richardson, appointed Loida to run the state's Human Rights Commission. She then filed a second class action against Los Alamos on behalf of women scientists not paid fairly. But no, we want more films about the complex, troubled, heroic white men who conducted their genius in the virtually unpopulated place. These are all lies. This mythology in service to white supremacy and the industrial military complex masquerading as nuanced. Because of what the labs did to the local Hispano people in northern New Mexico, their communities now have the highest rates of heroin overdose deaths in the nation. The generational trauma and forced poverty is outrageous. We need the real stories of Oppenheimer to be told. Listen, I mean, that speaks to a time that was ugly in our history. There's no way around it. I'm with her on 99% of where she's coming from, but that history cannot be denied. And what I will do is I've seen some other connected stories and videos. We will get those to you as well. Yeah, I mean, listen, this to me is in a long line of historical tragedies that have happened to Latino people since this was the United States. Hispanos, and what she's referring to as Hispanos, are New Mexican people who for all pioneered the land, conquered the land. They did not have good relationships at first, I believe, with the natives there. That's a whole different argument, which why I don't like the white supremacy thing, because if we're going on that, then Hispanos should not be there, right? Like as far as 200 years ago, because then you could say they're going under that whole supremacy thing. But the fact is that they've been in that they've been part of that land for centuries, and then for the government to go in and do what they did, I absolutely believe it. I absolutely believe it, and it is a story that should be told. Maybe as a limited series, I think that would be kind of cool. You know, I also too think that these guys are such literally mad scientists. It's not that they don't care about Latinos or black people or I don't know what. All they care about is what's in their head and what they're trying to achieve. And it does not. This movie Oppenheimer does not paint Oppenheimer to be a great guy when it comes to his marriage, his womanizing, all those things. He's a very flawed man, which is why Oppenheimer is such a good movie for me. It definitely should be taught as part of history. Absolutely, 100%. Because this happens a lot, is that you erase that history and you think that there was nobody affected, that there was nobody part of the program, and that's just not the case. That's just not the case. And you know, everyone's a part of history. It's what their roles were. So I I had read that a few days ago, and then I was like, damn, 12 million views. This really took off. People really got behind this. And I'm seeing now some other Latino publications talking about it. This modern take on white supremacy is like an easy argument. This one though, back in the 30s and 40s, this is an example of major kind of the beginnings of the military industrial complex just ravaging uh, that land, the people, and after the fact, because after the fact they had some really you know uh, I believe they even created a society called Downriver or Downwind Association in regards to the nuclear fallout. So I just wanted to share that. I think it's important history. Everyone's talking about Oppenheimer, Bob Barbie. No, and I'm so glad that Alicia brought this up. She is a novelist, a screenwriter. Again, writers bringing stuff up. I love it. Now, whether you guys agree with it or not, uh, or ever how you feel about it, that's your opinion. But it's something that should be noted. Just like with history, it can be very ugly and it can be very beautiful at the same time.